about getting this growth? How many of us are really putting in the work to get and achieve the growth that we need to achieve? And all that we do is talk about growth. All that we do is dream to actually have growth. In this life today, I want to have a conversation with you. I want us to speak about what I have personally done to actually find growth in the line that I am in right now. And that particular thing is going to be of importance as we move on. And I've written 10 points in my notebook. As you know, as always, we use this notebook to be authentic and not to forget any point. So allow me and pardon me as I've been looking down to read a few notes, and we will have a beautiful life. But most importantly, growth is inevitable. Whether you like it or not, you will grow. But how you will grow is determined by how much time you spend, you know, actually devising your own growth. So others grow to die, others grow to live this life. It is not that deep. This life is not that deep. We just have a limited amount of time in this world. And we are about to look at how growth is actually the thing that we need to be looking at. The very first thing that I want us to look at is just to have a word of prayer as we have always done. Lord, help us as we begin this particular life. Today is the day that you've given unto us. It's different from yesterday. We are not using yesterday's experience to teach what we have here today. We're not using yesterday's experience to impact that which we have written down here today. And for those that will watch this after we've actually done this live, we pray that you'll be with them and that someone's life may be touched. All these things we pray, trusting and believing that you've heard us when we're crying. Right. I have seen a bit of growth in my life. Not too much, but I've seen a bit of growth. And I've started to see that it is not by luck, it is not by chance, it is not by any ideology of just finding growth. It is actually because of some simple steps that I've taken. And these steps are coming in the order of their importance. And as we are moving in these steps, I don't want you to leave the video, because if you leave the video, you'll miss out on the step that I've written. Maybe step number 5 is the step that was supposed to change your life. Maybe step number 4 was the one that was supposed to change your life, and yet you've already left. So don't leave. Stick with me. Stick with me, and we'll get through it. The very first thing that I want us to talk about is, before anything, after you've thought an idea, after you have thought about what you want to do, invite God into your plans. I mean, I've seen too many people that are busy. I've seen too many people that are running around doing this and doing that, just trying to make ends meet. And seems like ends are not meeting. They're chasing the ends, and ends are not meeting. The more the activity that you do, the less the results that you're getting. So we run a danger of doing too much. We run a danger of doing a lot of things and still not get to where we're supposed to get to the growth where we're supposed to get to. It is a very challenging thing for us. It is a very challenging thing that people are running too much around and they are not getting the results that they want to get. So what you will then discover is that productivity has nothing to do with activity. I know that is deep. I'm going to be slow. I'm going to repeat it. You put too much effort in doing something. You are running around and doing a lot of things. You are trying to be productive, and yet you are not getting the results that you want. So the very first point that we need to look into when we are trying to get to real growth is inviting God. Invite God that even the little effort that I will make today, let that effort be enough to get me through. Let that effort be the one that really, gets me the results that I want to get to. That becomes the most important thing whilst you're doing it, because people do a lot of things. People run around and people keep going the way they are going, but they are not getting the results that they're getting. Remember, we have our notebook. So I'll be looking at the notebook so that we don't forget, number one. Number two, so that we are as authentic as we can be as we're giving the points. The second point is this. This one is important. Stick with me on this one. Whilst you're looking for growth, whilst you're looking for success in any line, the second point, after inviting God, the second point is this: set clear goals. This is important because whilst you're setting clear goals, you are not only helping yourself, but you're also sending a message out to the universe to say, this is what I want to achieve. So whilst you're setting clear goals, you are setting clear goals so that even the people that are around you, remember, you are the leader. You're the leader that is leading a certain amount of people. And whilst you're not setting clear goals, you're inviting these people to keep coming back to you to ask you, at this particular point that we've reached, what are we supposed to do? And that then becomes a burden in your shoulders every single time. You have burden in your shoulders, you're not having a peace of mind because the goals that you have set are not so clear. So for you to achieve real goals, real growth, you need to set clear goals. Goals that anyone, even a person that is just walking around, can see. And when they see it, they know the steps that they can take to actually get to where you want them to get into. So you need to be in a space of actually setting clear goals. That is the only way for you to actually reach the growth, the stages where you want to go to. How are you thinking you're going to get to where you want to get to without you actually setting a clear goal to say by the end of the year we want to have gotten to this particular point? It helps a lot of people. It helps them to actually get to where they're supposed to get to. So now, don't be. I'm still reading. It doesn't have to be perfect. The next point. This one is an important point. This is a point that I took for myself. This is a testimony for myself that I did that allowed me to actually get to where, I'm not saying I've grown to where I wanted to go to, but the little bit of growth that I've seen in my life, in any aspect, it can be financial growth, it can be, relationship growth, it can be any type of growth that I've seen has only came after I have done some of these points that I'm sharing with you today. The next point is of importance. Let me just share this point with you. I want you to listen carefully. It says this: it doesn't have to be perfect, right, for you to actually start. Let me talk about perfection in a bit. The weather doesn't have to be perfect for you. You plan to go out on a jog. It doesn't have to be the most perfect weather for you to actually take those shoes out and go out for that jog. Even when it's not sunny, if you've planned something, you have to stick to what you have planned and go out and do the thing that you said you will do just because you made a promise to yourself. It doesn't have to be perfect for you to start. So the weather doesn't have to be perfect. The time must not be perfect. Let's talk a bit about the perfect time. Most of you have brilliant ideas. You know exactly what you want to do. You know exactly how you want to do it. You know exactly to whom you want to do it to. You know exactly how the people that you want to liaise with. But for the longest of time, it seems like that idea has stayed exactly that, just an idea. It seems like for a lot of time, the idea is just an idea, and it cannot become a materialistic thing that we can hold into our hands because you have kept it in the very first step of keeping it as an idea. If you continue to keep something as an idea, it will stay just like that. It will stay just like an idea for good. It will never become, because you have kept it in the idea stage. So whilst you're waiting for the perfect time, I've got bad news for you. If you're still waiting for the perfect time to start that project, if you're still waiting for the perfect time, in South Africa bathi ukushela on a lighter note, uyibona intombi oyifunayo, but you're not going after the lady that you want and you're waiting for the perfect time, guess what? Others are going to snatch that lady away from you because They did not wait for the perfect time. They went and they seized the moment. But back to the serious stuff of saying, look, the perfect time is not coming. The perfect time is not coming at all. There is no such thing as the perfect time. If you're still waiting for the perfect time, you might as well wait for eternity. It is not coming. It was never there. All the people that you see those that have achieved what they have achieved because they did not wait for the perfect time. They understood that the perfect time is really not there. There is no perfect time. You really don't get a perfect opportunity to do things. You just have to go and do it. So bad news for you if you're waiting for the perfect time. It is never going to come. Or they're still making it maybe somewhere in space where we cannot see. But in reality, that time is not really coming. And so I started to see growth. For example, in YouTube, I started to see growth I'll speak of YouTube because YouTube has been the thing that I've wanted to challenge myself to do. It's not easy to speak to a camera. It's not easy to speak to people like this. But when I started, I just went ahead and started. I just went ahead and started. I posted that video. It was still imperfect. The video that I posted was imperfect. The thumbnail was not perfect. The title was not perfect. The time was not perfect. But I posted it. And guess what? I still didn't get any views, even after posting in that imperfect time. But when I continued to post, I got some views here and there in some other videos that I posted in an imperfect time, which was a lesson to me that it doesn't have to be perfect for you to start. You just need to start. The camera doesn't have to be perfect. The phone doesn't have to be perfect. But along the way, you are learning and you're also going. So we still have our notebook and we're moving on to the next point. These are the steps that I've taken for me to actually start to see growth in my life, in all facets of my life. You don't need all pieces. You will find more pieces as you go. This one is a great point and it's an important point that I want us to really look into. I'll make an example to demonstrate this point. I'm making an example with the children of Israel. The children of Israel, when they moved out of Egypt, they were moving out of Egypt, and the instruction that came to them was, look, people, take whatever you have, take your keys, take your stock, take this, take that, take your stuff, and every important thing that you have, and go toward the Red Sea. That was the instruction that the Lord gave to them. And he did not tell them what to do when they get to the Red Sea. This is an important point. This is important because as you're starting your journey, you do not need to know everything. You do not need all the pieces for you to actually get to where you want to go to. You just need to know the very first step, the very first piece. And that piece is enough, because when you need the next piece, the Lord will certainly supply. When they finally go to the Red Sea, the cloud was still saying, move forward, go forward. But remember, the Red Sea is water. We can't just go on water. One person says that the children of Israel robbed us of a miracle because had they just continued to move forward, they were going to walk on water on that particular moment. But because of their faith that was limited, they stopped at that point. And when they stopped at that point, they asked of God to say, look, we are here at the Red Sea, just like you commanded us. What do we do next? And the missing piece, as we're speaking about missing pieces, the missing piece that they had was given to them at that particular time. And Moses was able to hit the water and the sea parted and they were able to move on dry land. So when you're moving as well in your journey, you do not need all the pieces, like I'm saying. When you finally reach a Red Sea in your journey, you will get the missing piece from God because it's the one that has been leading you from the start anyway. So when you know that he's been leading you from the start, you also know that all the missing pieces that you have, it is not your duty to know about them. But when you need it most, when you get to a point when you need it most, he is faithful and just to give you that particular piece. Another example is when they finally crossed, the waters at Mara were salty, and these waters that were salty, they actually they needed a missing piece again, and God gave them the remedy to the water. They were able to drink the right water. So my point being, you do not need all the pieces for you to actually get to where you're going to. Let's move on to the next one. The mountain. The mountain will always look too steep to climb until you take the first step. This is one thing that I started to understand before I started seeing growth in my life. The mountain before you is always going to seem too steep. The mountain before you is always going to seem like it's just too much for you to climb until you take the first step. So from a distance, when you're looking at the mountain, it is going to look like it's something that you cannot climb. It's something that you cannot take head on and actually win against it, because it seems like it's just too steep for you to actually climb to the other side. But here's the problem with looking at a mountain. The more that you look at the mountain, the more fear comes into your way. The more that you look at this particular mountain, the more that doubt creeps and finds its way to you. And the more that you keep looking at this particular mountain, the more that you actually realize that maybe I'm not going to be able to actually get to where I'm supposed to get to. And so the point that I'm trying to make is this: don't look too much at the mountain. Don't look too much at this mountain. Take the first step. That first step. And that first step is not only going to make you see that this mountain is something that you can actually beat, but it's going to give you the confidence and the energy that will come as you are taking that first step towards the mountain. Life is generally about perspective of how we see the mountains that are surrounding us. And for some people, it's like they are looking and they're seeing that the perspective, the mountain is Jericho ahead of them. The Israelites were moving around Jericho. They were not looking at Jericho. They were singing and they were marching around Jericho, just like they were instructed by God. And so you should not take the first step because Jericho is too big and is too high. Because eqinisweni, Jericho was just too much for these people. It was a big barrier. On their own, they were not going to make it. And so if the mountain is too big for you, if the mountain is just too big in general, take the first step. As God is saying, move forward. Take that first step and you will find a way to actually hit that mountain. And there's going to be a way for you to actually do it. So the next step is do it broke, do it unmotivated. Most of the things that we're trying to achieve need finances. We're not going to lie. Money is important in this journey. Money is one thing that is not spoken about enough. And when you're starting, you don't have money. But that which you're starting is something that is supposed to give you the money. And so you want to start, but you're still afraid because you don't have money at all and you don't know where you're going to get it. But that should not be the reason why you don't start something. That should not be the reason why you actually sit with other men and say, I didn't start certain projects because I did not have money. God blesses you as you go. God blesses effort, actually. So you need, just like the previous point, you need to take that first step. And when you do take that first step, as you're moving in that first step, in that direction, God is going to finally see you through. So do it broke and do it unmotivated. Motivation is a superficial feeling that you have for a moment that gives you the power to actually do certain things. But the bad thing about motivation is that it does not stay forever. It stays, but not forever. It stays for a certain time. So when you are dependent on motivation, you are not going to achieve much because motivation is a time frame. It comes and it goes. You feel motivated for a certain period of time, but that feeling is not a feeling that stays forever. What are you going to do when it's actually gone? What are you going to do when that motivation that you had is no longer there with you? So do it unmotivated. Actually, projects that you start unmotivated are projects that last better than those that you start motivated. So when you are actually feeling unmotivated to do something, that is when you should actually do that particular thing. It sends a strong message to the universe to say you're serious about what you needed to do. Okay, so now journal your progress. Journal your progress. Journaling your progress gives you two things. It gives you a window of where you've came from, what mistakes you did along the way, why you did what you did, and it also helps you to see the way forward. Because when you journal and you have a record of the mistakes that you did, the future then becomes a place where you no longer need to do the same things that you did in the past because you have journaled and you're remembering and you know. The brain, however, it forgets. I've heard someone says, I don't need to forget, I don't need to journal because I'll remember. The brain is going to deceive you to that and you are going to forget. But when you do journal, you are in a space to actually remember what you did and you're not going to make the same mistakes that you did in the past. So journaling is important. Journal your work and you're not going to be in the same loop that you are living to say, I did this last year, I failed. And whilst you're journaling, you're also asking questions in that journal to say, why did I fail? Why didn't this project come out the way I wanted it to come out? Why did this happen? Why did that happen? And once you have those answers, you are able to move on that way. Right. The last point, the second from last point, don't, when it feels hardest, you feel like giving up, press even more. That is the time that you will get the results that you need. And then the very last point that we have is do not compare yourself with other people. Self-comparisons have killed more dreams than a lot of other things. So stop comparing yourself with other people. Stop comparing yourself with people that have already made it because you don't know. You're step one, you're still in step one, but they're in step 10. And whilst you're comparing yourself and trying to live like them, living like people that are earning more money, 5 times more than you're earning, you will end up in doubt, in debt. You will drown in debt trying to please the people around you, or you're influenced by the comparisons that you make. So bottom line, just stop comparing yourself to other people. You are enough. You are the best version of yourself. You're the only one that God has actually given to us in this planet. So the more that you try to be somebody else, you're robbing the world of. Kindly subscribe. Kindly subscribe. I have to go now.